focus. Alright, there we go. So, remember how in that last video I was talking about trying to get a new setup? Well, I had some ideas, and I decided to try them all out and see which one I liked best. Hopefully, I have come up with a final solution and a final setup by this point of the video. Otherwise, this next bit is gonna be awkward. Now we've got a little bit of a different place. Am I recording? Can't tell. Now I am. Yeah. So I was leaning towards something like this, sorta. But after trying a little bit of a setup, I found that this looks a little too old people-y for me. I don't like whatever color it is. Not to mention that it doesn't work as well as what it was earlier when the sun was actually shining out the front. So I'd have to use this setup at a very specific time of day in order to get the best out of it. That's something I don't have time for. So this was one of the ideas. So here's another setup that I was thinking of. Something right here. This is actually pretty comfy. I lost my hat. Where did my hat go? So yeah, I thought about this one, and this one I think would be nicer. Again, it's about that time of day. See, it's a windowsill that has a seat, which is nice. Makes it comfy, makes it kind of relaxing. Easy to talk to the camera, easy to tell stories and everything. But the window behind me earlier had so much light coming from it, and the blinds help diffuse that, make it look nice and pretty. So again, I come back to the thought of like, if I want to use this spot to its best ability, I have to use it at a certain time of day. I'll definitely keep this as a backup, especially since I want to test that time of day idea. But just as it is right now, I don't think I'm going to be able to make this one work. So got to figure out something else. And here we have number 3. This one's also a pretty nice idea. This one is a little bit easier to work with throughout the day because there's more windows and it's a lot more light. So, I mean, I have a window in front of me, like a window wall basically right here, a little window behind me, which I can leave open for, aesthetic purposes, or I could close the blinds and give it more diffusion if it was a really, really bright day. However, this is a very, this is a bad spot. Great for lighting, great for just sitting and kind of, what do we have a basketball and a plant? With a little fine touch, it could be beautiful. It could be a wonderful spot to tell stories. But it's a high traffic area. Sadly, I don't live alone, so I will constantly, no matter what time of day it is, I will possibly have traffic in and out of the background, of a bunch of noise carrying on, because this is like right next to the kitchen, and there's no way to stop people from coming to the kitchen in this house. There's just not. So, we'll have to find yet another spot. Okay, so then we have option number whatever this is. This room is not used nearly as often. There's actually a decent amount of light coming in from 2 windows that are in the room. But the room itself is really boring, really bland. Not a lot to it. It's also kind of echoey if you can't hear that. But I can hear that. Especially since I'm going to have to talk kind of loud and project so that I can get the best quality out of the microphone. I don't know. It may be better at a different time of day, just like the rest of them are. So I guess regardless of what I choose, unless I have a backup for night shooting or shooting in when the day is not there, I'll have to figure out something, or I have to shoot on a special time. So still there's some other ideas to try. So let's see what the other ideas are. So here's another one. This one's not nearly as bad. This one is pretty interesting. I kind of thought I liked this one because it had like the wood in the back, and I could sit in this comfy chair that I haven't gotten to really use for anything other than some photos. And another good part is the fact that it can be used at any time. It can be daytime, it can be nighttime. Either way, the lights are artificial, so it doesn't matter. Let me try a slightly different light setup. All right. So, there. Now it's a little bit softer, a little bit nicer. Not as harsh as the lights a minute ago, but I'm just not feeling it. It's kind of claustrophobic. Not... Yeah, I'm just not dealing it. Finally, I come to this setup. This one is not too bad. It's kind of comfortable. I have a couch to sit on. I have a nice background. I have plenty of light, although it's not daylight, it's artificial light, but it'll just have to do. A benefit is that I can use this setup anytime. Doesn't matter if it's day, doesn't matter if it's night, it's always gonna look just like this. Which is something I'm probably going to rely on since I don't know how often I'll be able to use like the daytime. But I guess what I'll do is I'll probably experiment and I'll use this whenever I need to make a video, but then whenever I have the opportunity to use one of those other spots, I'll try them out and see what they look like during the right time of day. Now let's just get on to the main point of this video. So back in January, I had decided that I was going to spend this entire year getting into better health, better shape, just everything, just better everything. I wanted to change just a lot of stuff. But it was kind of difficult at first because I had a cruise that I needed to go on. And the cruise did not really help with the diet and everything that I was going for. But I'll talk about that in the next video. Stay tuned for cruise ship talks. Completely changed my diet. No sodas whatsoever. Cold turkey, completely gone. Just knocked them out. I also stopped eating a lot of fast food. You know, I still eat it every once in a while, but it's not nearly as much, and it's usually a lot different choices that I make when I do have to get it. I can tell you for a fact, it says if you ever want to lose 5 pounds the quickest, the absolute quickest, you will lose 5 pounds guaranteed-ish. Don't quote me, but pretty much guaranteed to lose 5 pounds just by quitting soda for a solid week. 7 days, no soda, cold turkey, 5 pounds, done. You know, I changed all that and I started trying to exercise a lot more and trying to get myself awake earlier in the day, which was something I mentioned in the last one. I'd like to go and get up before I eat breakfast and go walk for about 30-40 minutes, depending on how much time I have in the morning before work. Right now, I don't have as much of that time as I used to, because otherwise I'm getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to walk, so there's no point in me having to get up that early to do the walking, to just turn around and go to work and walk a bunch anyway. So right now I'm not doing it as much, but on days off from work, I still do it every time. So yeah, I've done a lot of changing and I've seen a lot of changes in myself as well, as far as how I look, how I feel, and how I enjoy certain things. Like, it's kind of like the forbidden fruit kind of idea. It's like you can't have it so you want it more, and it makes it so much more satisfying when you finally do have it. And that's kind of how I treat my new kind of diet thing. It's like I don't get to have certain things very, very often. I don't even drink that often. But you're dang right that I love a good drink every once in a while. So when I do get to have it, it's absolutely fantastic. It is amazing. I'll tell you, like, one of my favorite things is Jack Daniels, and I have yet to have that in quite a while. And just the smell of it alone is just, oh, yes, glass on the rocks now, please. Thank you. Perfect. Please drink responsibly. Don't overdo it. Kids, don't drink at all. But yeah, I've changed a lot, and I like a lot of the changes I've made, and it's basically just a continuation from some of the stuff I talked about in the last little update, which is that, you know, I'm trying to change things for myself in so many different ways, because call me selfish, I want more. I want more out of myself, I want more out of life, I want more out of everything. My freaking batteries. I want my dog to stop crying at the top of the stairs. I love you. So here's the thing about my early morning walks. So I get up pretty early, and when I do manage to get my walking done in the morning, I like to get up fairly early where the sun is barely up. Now, I've been up before earlier where it's been completely dark in the mornings. Like, so dark that I've never seen it that dark outside before, kind of dark. And it's cold, it's cool, it's peaceful, it's quiet, just a little bit eerie. And what makes it worse is I like to do something a little unorthodox. I like to listen to creepypasta stories, especially while I walk, especially while walking. Like, early morning, pretty much the absolute darkest it could possibly be outside, like 4:30, just around that 5 o'clock mark. you know what they say, you know, it's always darkest before the dawn. Well, it's actually pretty correct, because it's really freaking dark. And I'm out there walking, listening to, you know, 30-40 minutes worth of, like, creepy stories. So, Mr. Creepypasta's number 1, Creeps McPasta's number 2, Dr. Creepin' number 3, and I gotta throw a 4th one in there, which would be Mr. Spooky. Now, the first 3 pretty much post on a consistent basis, and that's one thing I absolutely love. I'm so happy that they do that, because it gives me something new to listen to, even though I could probably be fine just listening to everything they've already put out on repeat. But Mr. Spooky used to post more. He doesn't as much right now, but they all have like really great voices, and they tell stories really well. They narrate them really well, and it's just, I just can't help it. I love listening to all those stories, especially in that early dark morning walk. I think I've covered just about everything I can in this video. I don't want to linger on too long, because I think I've already made it too long as it is. So all the earlier setups, I'm going to have a big number with it. If you like a certain setup better than this one, or if you like this one, send a comment with whatever number that is, or tell me if you like all of them, if you want me to use them just, you know, on a whim, just alternate between them randomly, or whatever. I mean, for the most part, I'll probably stick with this one, unless I absolutely find something way better than this. The only thing I don't like about this one is the amount of work to set it up. It's not a lot, but it's more than I would like it to be. But other than that, I think I've covered everything in this video, so if you guys are interested, the next video is going to be talking about that trip I took, the cruise. Yeah, already got some stuff planned for that. So, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.
What are you yelling at?
I want my brother to get out of my video! Especially in that early dark morning walk. Fuck you! What?